Transitioning my family to become MSG free has been a milestone for me. Like people like my husband always cooked everything with seasoning cubes in quote. So one thing you could do to transition is use stock. Now bones you can buy from your local butcher. They don't cost a lot and most times you can get really good quality bones for next to nothing. I start by roasting it in the oven and draining out the oil, and that is actually really good oil you can use to cook, or if you're worried about it, get rid of it. Next, we have our veggies now. I love using beetroots, but not the bright red ones. So the golden ones or the chogia ones, the stripy ones, are really good. They add sweetness to the stock without anything negative. So beets are fine. First and foremost, after the initial roast, I added some onions, some garlic, and a bit of carrot just to roast the carrots and the beets, and pop this back in the oven for another hour. This really helps enhance the flavor, makes this bone smoky, and makes our stock delicious. And then we take everything into a big stock pot because you're doing a lot and strain out the excess fat. Put it all in a stock pot and now we get to season. Some salt, I'm using some salt, some yellow peppers, bay leaves, and your herbs. You see that mountain of herbs? We need it all. Now, if you're plant-based, you can just make your broth with herbs, but I'm using this bone stock and some apple cider vinegar. The vinegar helps extract the nutrients from the bones and also the flavor of this thing is enhanced. Some other spices, I've put some lovage powder, celery powder, black peppercorns, uziza seeds. If you're Nigerian, you know what uziza seeds are. They're like our own peppercorns. And then I let this thing cook for at least an hour. You can cook this for longer, but an hour minimum. Get all the bones out. You can see the marrow bones. Everything is literally falling off the bones. It's just all stripped off. And then you strain your vegetable stock and just let it strain. Don't waste any of the juices. Some people pulverize the powder in the herbs, but I don't need to because I've taken all the nutrients into my stock. When you strain this thing, we want to make this quite concentrated. The whole key is not just making normal stock, concentrated so we can preserve it in the freezer. So I'm going to skim out the excess fat at the top of the stock. Some people can put this in the fridge, let it cool down and skim it out, but I'm not doing that. Look at that beautiful fat I got there and that color. Guys, this is flavor enhanced. That is natural flavor bump you made there. And next, I'm going to just strain every particle out of it. We don't want bits and pieces. We want it concentrated. We want it fine and smooth. And then let this thing boil for another few hours to reduce it. You see how smaller it is? It's now concentrated. 1 or 2 ice cubes is all you need to make your cooking delicious. Store this in the freezer and then when it's frozen, just put it in ice cube bags and you're done. I hope this helps you if you're trying to transition from MSG. You can do this with this sort of recipe.